Okay, so let's talk about body fuels. The human body is a living thing, so it needs a fuel source. Most people fuel the human body with sugar, and that includes starches that get converted into sugars in the human body. The other way to fuel the human body is with fats, and this is called, for most people, being in a state of ketosis. Now what we're going to talk about is each of these fuel sources and the effects it's going to have on your health. Most people think that an empty stomach means you're hungry. That's not the actual trigger. The actual trigger for hunger is low blood sugar, because what it is saying is that your body is out of fuel and it needs more. Hunger can also be triggered by a need for certain nutrients, minerals, vitamins, and that sort of things. These are usually kind of like when you crave a certain food. Usually that's what it is. Not always, but usually. The first body fuel we're going to talk about is sugar. Now when you're using sugar as your body fuel, it's going to raise and lower your blood sugar levels all day long. And what happens is, it's called the roller coaster, and you eat sugar, your blood sugar goes really high. The body says, oh, it's too high, it produces insulin to lower it back down, and then when you run out again, usually in 2 to 4 hours, it's a short-term body fuel, then you got to refuel the body again, because you're going to get the hunger signal, because your body needs something. What this means is, you're going to have to constantly eat a lot on a sugar diet. There's no backup supply. You can't overload on sugars because it turns to fat and the insulin lowers it back down. Sugar is one of the most addicting substances on the planet, and you can get it almost anywhere. Next, we're going to talk about fat as a body fuel. Now, fat keeps a constant blood sugar level. So there's no hunger. You really don't have that really heavy hunger. There's no eating cycles that you have to have. There is a backup supply, and that is your body fat. So if you run out of fuel from your diet, from eating, you do have a backup supply handy. It uses a concept called ketones, and I'm just using the name so you know what it is. It's not very addicting. I mean, people just don't sit there and overeat these kind of foods. They're not sweet, so they're not like a super taste that you're just dying to have. If you're using fat as a fuel source, fat does not require insulin because the blood sugar level is always perfectly stable. If you're using sugar as a fuel source, when the sugar level gets too high from eating too much sugar, the body will produce insulin to lower the blood sugar level back down to a normal range. Just remember, with sugar, you can't have a backup system with it, and you can't even eat extra for later. Sugar basically is a very short-term fuel that you have to basically use and then refuel, eat again. You may be wondering how to get into a state of ketosis now, where you're burning fat for fuel instead of sugar. And it's done two ways basically. The first way is you don't eat any carbs, which is starches, or sugar for about 2 days. And your body, having burnt all the blood sugar, will convert into burning fats. The other way is you can go walking at a fast pace for 30 to 60 minutes, depending on your blood sugar levels when you started, and then your body will convert into a state of ketosis where you're burning fat for fuel. So the most common way to get into it is by just exercising for 30 to 60 minutes, and then you're in a state of ketosis. You can usually tell because you'll get your second wind. You'll get more energetic at that point. And that's when you know you've crossed over. I get asked which fuel source I use, and hands down, it is unsaturated fats. as my fuel source. Sugar has caused me so many health issues, and I have put them on the website. And they're called the Sugar Diet Illnesses and how I reversed each one of them. It's biology based, not medical. It's sound biology, repeatable biology, and you can read about each one of those if you have one of them, how I got rid of it. But that's why I use fat, unsaturated fats, as a fuel source. You're going to hear one more thing about fat fuels, or maybe two more things. The first one's going to be that fat burns dirty, sugar burns clean. And it's true. Absolutely true. But I think it's normal. I don't think it's abnormal or different or anything. It's just how it is. And I consider it like this. Sugar is like burning unleaded fuel. Fat's like burning diesel. And sugar is going to burn cleaner. But think about this. An athlete who goes out in the field and works out for an hour, they burn fat as a fuel at that point. And it doesn't really seem to affect them that much. Also, burning fat as a fuel gives me about twice the energy as the sugar diets do, even if I keep feeding myself sugar all day to keep energized. So while they may say it's a dirty fuel, I just think it's normal. It's just the way it is, and there's no problem. The body has no problem handling it at all. It's just a normal thing. They call also fat fuel a starvation mode. And this is like, because it's a secondary fuel source to them. And to me, it's a primary fuel source. And sugar is, you're just like an additional fuel source in case you just got to gain some weight real quick. Because sugar diets usually put weight on people. Unless you're on pure sugar. And then you get other problems. But I don't see any big deal to being called a dirty fuel. Yeah, that's fine. I'm a diesel truck and you're just a little bitty Volkswagen. Usually it's best just to pick one fuel source and go with that. Because when you mix them, you get into weight problems. For example, if you're fueling your body with sugar, then you want to keep a very low dose of sugar as your fuel. And don't go too high, because the excess sugar will become body fat. Plus, any saturated fat you eat also go to body weight. So it's easy to get fat eating fat on a sugar body source. When you're fueling the body with fats, then when you eat sugars or carbs, more than 20 grams in a 4-hour period, it will kick you out of ketosis and you'll no longer be burning fats as a body fuel. So basically you want to pick your body fuel and go with that. I hoped this video helped you to regain your health. This is Trent Black signing out.